Hey folks, my name's Ed Trevors. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I'm an Anglican priest serving in the beautiful parish of St. Margaret of Scotland that sits on the ancestral and on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Gwe. I wanted to tell you one more story about Saint Moses the Black, Moses the Ethiopian, Abba Moses. He was a monastic a while back in the wilderness of Egypt. The story I want to tell you goes that he was having difficulty adjusting to the Christian monastic life. Now remember, you got who he was before becoming a Christian, a rough and tumble, teeth-spitting thug. He was a criminal. He was a robber. He was a murderer. He took from people that which did not belong to him, whether they wanted to give it to him or not. He lived the outlaw life. Showing up in a monastery, choosing to follow Christ wasn't an easy adjustment for him. It wasn't an easy adjustment for him. Whatever he did in the past, he did with a certain vigor. And he achieved a certain amount of success in his old life. He was feeling impatient that he wasn't able to achieve the level of success he desired as a Christian. He was growing impatient that he still had those desires to, punch somebody in the head when they were bothering him. He was impatient that he was still finding himself frustrated and irritated and acting, or at least thinking, in unchristian thoughts. He went to the abbot of the monastery, a fellow by the name of Isidore. And he laid this on Isidore's desk. He said, "Listen, I'm struggling here, man." Isidore, the next morning, very, very early in the morning. You know that time of the morning where it's darkest. Everything is still. And there's no light at all. Isidore took Moses up to a top of a roof. They faced the direction where they knew the sun would come up. And the sun did what the sun always does. Very, very, very gradually brought light into the day. Began to rise. Sunbeams began to crest over the horizon. The morning sky began to glow. Isidore turned to Moses and said, "You see now, the sun doesn't just come into the world and bring light. It takes a long time. Have patience. You'll get there. It's okay. This isn't, no matter what anybody ever tells us, this lifestyle is not a matter we snap our fingers and instantly become super Christian. I mean, we may be able to do that in words, but not really in our lives. It takes a long time. It's a lifetime's journey. There will always be things that come up and we go, that isn't how the master might have handled this. Next time I'll try. Again, I'll try to do better. Next time I will try something else. Moses was being really, really hard on himself, probably because of where he came from. Really probably wanted to make amends for all the damage he had caused, and at least that's me projecting onto him. He wanted the work to be done. Not because he was lazy, he just really wanted to be the person that he knew Jesus wanted him to become. He didn't want to disappoint the one who had saved him, the one whom he was following. He needed to go a little easier on himself, give himself some more time, give himself some space, offer himself some grace. It's a great lesson for you and I, recognizing that this is a lifelong process. It is a journey that we will never see the end of in our life. So lighten up. Pat yourself on the back when you do the right thing. Go easy when you don't. We don't need to whip ourselves. We don't need to beat ourselves. We don't need to punish ourselves. We just need to keep trying. At the end of his life, Moses, he was leading a monastery. He was the abbot when an army attacked. He sent all the other monks away. And he said he would stay in order to delay the army so that they could all get away. At that time, monasteries, it wasn't uncommon for monasteries to be attacked because sadly, monasteries were places where there was a lot of wealth was hoarded up in monasteries. Not necessarily because the monks were greedy, but because people trusted them to hold that stuff for them. Anyway, Moses, he sent his brothers away, and he stayed behind with a couple of others who refused to leave his side. Legend has it was two of the guys that he had throttled one day who tried to rob him. They stayed with him. He turned to one of his brothers and says, "Am I doing the right thing?" His brother says, "Yes, you are. You are where you need to be." Moses, even in the last, even at the end of his life, even though he was a leader of Christians, still learning, still asking questions, still desiring to grow even closer to God, still desiring to make sure that he was always on the right path. It's a lifelong journey. It's a lifelong journey that you and I have embarked upon. To grow closer to God, to become increasingly loving in this world, to become people of community, people of grace. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to be imperfect. And that's okay. Just keep trying. Like Moses. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord's face be made to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord's countenance be lifted up to you. May you always know the peace of being in the Lord's presence. And I pray that the same grace you show others when they mess up, when they slip up, when they step off the path, when they go the directions that they're not supposed to go or the directions you don't want them to go, I pray you would show yourself that grace and more. You need to. We're going to be lifelong students. It is good that we offer ourselves mercy and that we're patient with our growth, with our transformation. Amen. Nemultus.